This module is on basic Unix commands. We'll simply type in a few basic commands to get the feel for what it is like to type in a command into a Unix shell. I'm going to present you with a few commands that you might like to try, and type the name of each one and then press the Enter key. Some Unix terminals will actually label this key the return key, or even use that little down arrow, down to the left arrow. Anyway, here's the list of commands to try. I'll go through them with you one by one. The first is uname, which details the machine that you're currently using. It gives you details about that particular machine, including the version of Unix that you're running. So let's try that. Here I am back in my zip account, and I'll now type in uname, and I find that I am running Linux. Okay, well that's useful. It does actually tell me which version of Unix I'm involved in, but I'd like to get a bit more detail now, so I type in uname and I use the special option -a, and I get some more information. I find that I'm running Linux, that the computer name is zipper II or zipper2.zip.com.au, and it's running version 2.2.19. It's currently Friday, March 30th, 2001, 20 to 4 in the afternoon, and we're running on an i686, whatever that is, some kind of Pentium, I'm guessing. So that's some useful information. Let's go and see what other useful information we have available. We could use the ps command, which we'll have a look at the ps command later in this course, but for now we're going to use it to find out which shell we're running. So I just simply type in ps, and press enter, and it tells me a few things. It tells me some PIDs, some TTYs, and some times, and then some CMDs. Now it's the CMD column that I'm most interested in, because that tells me the name of every program that I'm currently running. I'm currently running a PS, obviously, because that was the program that I used to find out the names of the programs that I'm currently running. So PS was running, and also BASH, or the Born Again shell, was running. So that tells me that I'm using the Born Again shell on this particular system. Great. Okay, so now I know that I'm using Linux, and I know that I'm using the bash. So let's go and see what else we can use. Okay, there's a command called cal. Let's have a look at that. Type in cal, and I get the current month's details. Okay, well I guess that's pretty handy. What if I typed in cal 2001 and get the entire year? Okay, well that's good. It did scroll off the screen, which is a bit of a shame, but there are ways of avoiding that, which we'll go into a little later on. But I get the entire year's calendar now, which is good. Well, what about the calendar for one particular month? How about the calendar month of 10/2001? So I just get October 2001. Okay, so notice what I'm doing here is I'm showing you that it's possible to type some commands just by themselves, and then it's also possible to specify other details to that command in order to make it run slightly differently. That's quite an important point. We'll talk more about that in the next module. But for now, I want to show you an interesting curiosity. I'm going to show you the calendar month of September 1752. You can try this on your system as well. Now I haven't done anything to that. That is September 1752. Notice that it goes the 1st, the 2nd, and then the 14th. In other words, they actually lost 11 days out of that month. And that really did happen. It turned out that before that time, the cumulative effects of the fact that the year is not exactly 365 days, but it's closer to 365¼ days, the cumulative effect of that had thrown the calendar out by so much that they needed to adjust it by essentially getting rid of 11 days. There's a little interesting fact for you. And that was the time they decided to do it. Essentially on the 3rd of September 1752 they decided they were going to lose 11 days. They don't do that anymore because they've now introduced the concept of a leap year, and by calculating the appropriate time to have a leap year, which is every 4 years, except if the number of years is divisible by 100, and except if the number of years is divisible by 400. It's somewhat complex, but that's the way it works. Then we end up with a system where the amount of drift, or the accuracy, is extremely precise. It's down to several thousandths of a second. Anyway, enough history lesson. Let's move on. See what other commands we have available. There's the password command, which password is short for password, which allows you to change your login password. Now I'm not going to do that because it's different on every system as to how it works. You simply type in password, press enter, and it should prompt you for a few things. It'll prompt you hopefully for your old password, and then it'll prompt you for your new password twice, and then tell you that your password has been successfully changed. So the next time you log in, you'll have to provide a different password. So have a practice with that if you like, but please be careful. Make sure that you remember whatever password you change your password to. Okay, well that should give you a nice interesting cross-section of some very simple basic Unix commands that you can type in using the Unix shell. Now we're going to go into a little bit more detail and find out exactly what a command line is supposed to look like.